One day, if you found something so crazy that it flipped your whole world upside down, how would you handle it? Imagine you find out that the person you love the most in the world has been hiding something so crazy from you. What would you do? Well, I ask this because right now I'm exactly in that situation. A few days ago, I discovered something my husband did, and it's so absurd that I still have not processed it fully. Forgetting about what to do next, let me explain everything clear. Well, before this happened, I, Lisa, was living happily with my husband Tom and my amazing son Ben. We were nothing more than a happy family. And now my husband has managed to change everything, and I honestly don't even know what I'm going to do or say to my son when he comes back. You know, I just love him so much, but I have unfortunately learned that he is not my son. Thanks to my husband. Well, are you confused? So was I. So recently, Ben had won a sport championship, and both me and Tom were very proud. When I looked back then, I could not believe that I've given birth to him. I'm not saying that I was suspicious from early on or something, but I was just amazed to see that the human that we created together. My son always has been good at studies, and later became very interested in sports, and he was moderately good at everything he did. I remember I would always tell myself that this could not have come from my genes, because everybody in our family has been bad at sports. But everyone in my family loves music, which he also did, so I felt happy that he took something from me. Ben is a great son, so understanding for his age, and like I already mentioned, I have never been more proud of anything else in my life. So when school ended for summer and he asked me if he could spend a week with his friends camping and having fun, well, I obviously said yes. I've been known to be a little overprotective of him, but I knew that the boy deserved a little freedom. If only I had never sent him away. Oh, if only, if only. Well, I would have never discovered the truth. Honestly, I wish I never found anything out and spent all my life living happily in ignorance. Believe me, it would be bliss in my case. Something that I never thought about much is how our son did not resemble both of us much. But since I've given birth to this boy myself, how could I have any doubts? Anyways, a few days ago, when Ben left to travel with his friend, me and Tom celebrated because it was the day I found out that we were pregnant with Ben. Now, normally, this would not be a very special day for most parents, but it was for us. That's because we had a lot of trouble getting pregnant and at one point had almost lost hope. We both had some work to sort out the problem that stopped me from getting pregnant. But in the end, it all worked out, and now, 15 years later, we're celebrating that same day. The day that went by normally, and I was so happy that I should have been a little suspicious of what was coming next. The next day, my husband was busy with some work and could not find time to come along with me to the storage. I needed something from the storage that we had, but that doesn't matter, does it? So I had to go alone, and what happened has changed my entire life. So we own this storage room where we keep things that we don't want or need, but we want to keep. It's mostly memories in the form of old toys, gifts that we don't use, and stuff like that. I went to grab a frame I had kept to use someday, and it was that day to use it. But when I reached there, I could not just leave. I got stuck looking at our stuff from the past and got very emotional. It had been a very emotional week, see. I found for the first time the idol that we bought when we moved in, and many of Ben's old things. It's made me very happy seeing them, and I started digging for more and more and more. I was pretty free that day, so I could afford to spend some extra time there. An hour? Anyways, after looking at several things, I found a diary almost hidden in my husband's box. It was below a lot of stuff, and I would have never found it if I had not just been surfing through. So after looking at it for a few seconds, I recognized that it was a diary that my husband kept a long time ago. I hadn't seen it for over a decade, so obviously I did not remember it much. Also, he had never let me read it, and at one time I did before our son was born. It just contained information he wanted to remember or to keep private. So I read through it, and the memories of that time he had written in it it came rushing back to me. I was so happy reading things that he had written about our specific dates or the night I burned the curry and many of our fun adventures, including our journey of getting pregnant till the delivery of our child. As I read through, I found something weird. There were a lot of blank pages after the night before the delivery. As I was turning those pages, I felt that he was so happy and busy with our child, so he probably did not find the time to write anything and left the empty days as blank. But it turned out to be something else entirely. According to his own dates, probably 6 months after I gave birth, he had written something that started with the line, "I had a son, but he wasn't good enough." This sent chills down my spine, and I started wondering what he was going on about. Then the next line downright scared me. It said, "Lisa, if you're ever reading this, I'm very sorry for what I've done, but believe me, this is the right thing to do." It was more of a confession than just a journal entry, and from the writing it looked like he felt very guilty. But he had written that as soon as our son was born. He noticed that he was very weak, and by that my husband meant that our son's heart had stopped twice after being born. And these things happen, right? Even I was scared, but all I did was get overly emotional for half an hour. You know what he did? He swapped our baby with one that the couple that was beside us just had. Our babies were similar in color, size, and even the round body type, and had just been born a little while ago, so they were definitely not too distinguishable at all. Tom wrote that he made sure everything was good with them and that nobody would be able to tell what he did. I couldn't believe it. So at night he swapped the babies, and by the end of the next day we were out at the hospital, because both me and the baby were just doing well. As I read this, I was shaking and tears were falling from my eyes. You know what? Heck, as I'm writing this right now, I'm shaking and I'm still crying thinking about what he did to me and my child. So, in short, he swapped my son with somebody else's and was planning on telling me using the diary. Hence the confession style of writing. Actually, you guys are probably not going to believe this, but it actually gets a whole lot worse. Yep. Not only did he swap my child and was planning on telling me using a diary, but he also wrote that he regretted nothing. The only guilt that he felt was not telling me the truth, other than that he did not feel bad at all. He went on to switch the lives of 2 children, not just our own, but he felt no remorse for it at all. He only felt bad about lying. I mean, it was absurd. I cannot believe that I had never seen this psycho part of him, ever, in so many years of being together. Not just 6 months, he had periodically made an entry talking about not being able to tell me about it and how happy he was with his decision. He continued writing till probably Ben was 5 years of age, and his last entry said that at this point it would be better for me to just not know the truth. Out of everything, this I agree with. He wrote that he was going to burn it, but I guess something happened and he put it off in storage. Well, it was also very clear that he regretted nothing to this day, and it made me very sad and also very angry. How could he just swap our kid like it was a bad fruit? I don't even think most people can swap a pet like that, let alone a child. How heartless, and I mean it. Oh, also, he wrote that he wanted a strong child and had made a great choice as our child was weak. Tom thought my son was weak because his heart stopped twice, even though he was healthy. He made me raise someone else's child while I have no idea where my baby is. And even if I find him, what am I supposed to do? Just leave Ben like I didn't raise him as my son for the last, 15 years? What if his parents want him back? What do I do then? What do I tell my husband about my son? Do I even confront him? It's been 2 days and I've still not processed what I've learned, and I have no idea what to do. Please, guys, I'm begging you for a little bit of advice. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's me. So, it's been a week since my last update, and before telling you guys what happened, let me just make a few things clear. I love my child no matter what, and yes, it really felt like my husband betrayed me. For those defending him, try being in my son's position and still keeping the same mindset. Also, I don't want to destroy my actual son's life, but I think that he and his parents do deserve to know the truth. Though I have no intention of giving Ben up or anything, I love him more than the world. So, continuing, I got a lot of responses and ideas, and I want to thank you guys for listening to me and responding. After doing a little bit of thinking, I decided to confront my husband because there wasn't anything else that I felt right doing at the time. Since I had kept the diary on me, I did not even need to tell him a word. Also, ever since I had come back, he knew that there was something wrong because I had not spoken to him normally, not even once. So, a few days ago, I threw him the diary and asked him to explain. And this man really tried to make up excuses for what was written in there in so much detail. After about a minute, he gave up and accepted what he wrote. I slapped him and told him that what he did was messed up and stupid. He wasn't saying or doing anything, so I told him that I regretted marrying a person like him. And if I knew that this was who he really was, I would have never said yes to his proposal. Well, this definitely made his blood boil, and he snapped at me. This man seriously said to me that there was nothing wrong with what he did, and everything he has done has been for his family. He said that he knew that we had too many complications and just did not want to take a risk. And seeing the child's heart stop twice, he knew that if anything happened to him, I would die too. So, he did what he felt was necessary, and his gamble worked. He said that we gained a genius and an athletic kid who's strong both physically and mentally. I told him that our upbringing made him like that, and we could have done the same with our own child. Not that I dislike Ben or anything, but he kept saying that we could not have, and that our own child was weak and would have only caused us more harm. When I asked him if he actually felt any remorse for what he did, his answer really hurt me. He said that he would do it again and again and again, as many times as he needed to keep his family happy. I asked him if this was what he meant by having a happy family, and he said he didn't want to let me know. He said that he wanted to die with this guilt, but did not want me to suffer knowing the truth. But now that I do, he asked me to forget it and be happy and grateful for what we have. I asked him, did he feel the same about the other family and our biological son? And he became very serious. He said that for the first 5 years he was juggling with telling me the truth about everything. So he kept tabs on the family and that he exchanged our son with. Then he told me something that was absolutely devastating. He tells me that our actual son had died before he even reached 5. Tom said that it was the best decision of his life, and he would do it as many times as it would take to not go through something like that. I started to cry and asked him what about the other parents. He said he didn't give a hoot about them, and if I want to serve our son on a platter to them, then I am more than welcome to tell them the truth. It's been a few days since then, and I've started feeling something that is disgusting. I'm feeling glad that I raised Ben. I can't imagine him passing away at 5. I don't want to talk to the family and let them take him. I feel like doing this is going to make me as bad as my husband, but I don't want him to go anywhere. Guys, am I doing the right thing? Update number 2. Hey guys. Before I say anything else, I want to thank you for supporting me so much. Well, sorry for making it look like I'd given up in my last update just a few weeks ago. To be perfectly honest, my will to fight had diminished because of what my husband told me, but I wasn't going to give up either. After over a week of being disgusted by how I was feeling and guilty about everything, I finally made a decision to tell the family members everything. The thing is, no matter what, I wanted Tom to experience some consequence for his action, so I decided to tell everyone what he did. Over a week and a half ago, there was a small get-together at my in-laws' house, and we had all gone there. For those wondering, Ben has also come back but did not attend the get-together as he was a little too busy with friends. I had not told him anything because I don't even know how to make him understand what happened. Only close family members were invited, so when Tom started telling everyone that I was mad for no reason, I decided it's time to spill the beans. I think he believed that I would never tell them the truth, but oh boy, he was wrong. I told everybody what actually happened and made Tom accept the truth. Do you guys want to know the most surprising thing that happened during all of this? Well, most of the family members, including his parents, agreed that he did the right thing. They seemed to think that rather than having a dead child, they would rather have a stolen baby. They actually tried to make me understand and asked me to calm down. Well, I got mad. I told everyone how they could support him after he's done such a bad thing. and they all kept saying that he was right in doing so. I can't believe that not only my husband but my in-laws and family think that he's right too. Then towards the end, my mother-in-law suggested that I never inform the parents, as they would never be able to cope with what Tom did. I simply had to get out at the diner to stop myself from blasting everybody with nothing more than anger. How can they start suggesting things instead of telling Tom what he did was wrong? I don't even know, guys. It's wrong. I'll be honest, I don't want to give my child away either, but I can't stop myself from looking for the parents. The thing is, one of you gave me an idea that I have not been able to get out of my head. Somebody said that, what if my husband had lied about the dead child, and honestly, he's not above it all? Is it possible that he just lied to save himself because when I asked him where they were, he told me not to dig and warned me that they would take my child? I think he's trying to scare me so that I will not look for them. Well, a bad thing for him because I've been looking and I'm close to finding them. I want to check it out with my own eyes, then the only way I can rest easy is knowing. Anyways, I'll let you guys know exactly what I find out. Update number 3. Hey guys, so it's been 2 weeks and it turns out that what I believed was absolutely true. And after all these years, my husband was still trying to lie to me. He's made a very stupid mistake because this time it's going to really cost him. He has no idea that I know the truth. So I took a friend's help in finding the family, but unfortunately I cannot mention him because he says it could get him in trouble at his job at the hospital. I got the contact information of the husband and his address, but I couldn't find anything else. So I took it upon myself to go there and see if what my husband told me was real. I reached the address and was just standing across the street and next to the building up the courage to go and talk to them. I had not decided what I was going to do, but I just wanted to know if my son was alive or not. As I was hesitating, a young boy who had a soft voice asked me what I was doing. He seemed curious and looked about my son's age. I asked him if he lived close by and he said yes. I asked him questions about the house I wanted to visit and he was a little surprised and told me the names of the people who lived there. He only named the husband and wife at first, but then shocked me by laughing and saying that the last person was him. I almost fainted because there he is, my boy. He said his name was Zenith, and I had to hold back tears. He invited me into his house, and I told him I was going to come in a little bit, and then he left. As soon as I found out he was alive and how sweet he was, I knew for sure that I need to tell the parents the entire truth. Also, I did not mention this before, but when I first confronted my husband, I had recorded him. But since he was just fully accepting it, I did not feel the need to use it anyways. Armed with the recording and other evidence like his diary, I went to tell the parents the actual truth. So, I knocked, and they asked me if I was the same woman their son was talking about. I said yes, and told them I had something to tell them. It would be fair to say that they were shocked, but they were able to accept the truth after seeing my evidence and looking at Ben. He looked a lot similar to me. I apologized for what my husband did and was ready to get screamed at, but they did not even get mad at all. They were sad but understood that I was also in the same boat as them. I asked them if they wanted to do something about all this because I did, but I told them that I would not do it if they didn't want me to. See guys, the thing is, if they didn't want to, I was willing to forget about this and not tell the children anything. But they took a few days and have decided that we should do something. We're planning on going to the authorities, guys, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, we're going straight to the authorities. Now, and Tom was going to get arrested for stealing a child, and believe me, I don't want to do this to him, but he needs to pay for his crimes. I'll let you guys know exactly what happens next. Update number 4. Hey guys, this is it. It's been a few months, and I apologize for being late, but I forgot to mention this in my last update, but right before the other parents called me, I spoke with my husband, and he asked me to just forget about this and move on like he did. So, if you remember at the end of my last update, we decided to get him arrested for his crime. I wasn't going to let him walk scot-free. So, we went to the authorities, and all of the evidence combined with a DNA test was enough to incriminate. It was hard telling Ben the truth, but I think it was even harder for him to accept it. I told him that he was my son, blood or not, and that he seemed to calm down a little after that. It would be fair to say that Tom was very surprised when the authorities took him. I think I didn't need to tell you guys how my family felt about it. They were and still are mad. My in-laws even threatened to stop this, but I refused to listen. I told them that I was doing what I felt was best. They kept reminding me that he did this for me, and I kept reminding them that I did not ask of this. My husband begged me to take all of it back and kept saying that the only thing he wanted to do was to make me happy. I told him that I would have been happy raising my own son. A while later, after the DNA test confirmed everything and Tom accepted the charges, he was sent to jail. He has to spend some time thanking and repenting for what he's done. Obviously, I'm not happy with it. I love him still, but he left me no choice. After the decision was passed down, all of my family cut me off and have refused to make any contact with me. Honestly, I'm okay with it, because I don't need family members who would support things like this instead of standing up against it. Coming to the main issue, me and the other parents had a discussion and ended up agreeing to keep the children we raised, as we can only see them as our actual children. I told you guys I was not going to let Ben go, but we also agreed to keep in contact so that both kids can have another set of parents to depend on. It's been a few weeks and me and Ben are doing okay. Both of us are sad as we miss Tom, but we understand that he needs some time to understand what he did. Lastly, I want you guys to know that I'm appreciative of you. Thank you for helping me during all this, and, well, that's all I really have to say. So, goodbye.